Lately, we've been surrounded by zombies, and I love it. From The Last of Us clickers to Resident Evil 4's Las Plagas, there's no escaping these highly infectious parasites. But how do the two measure up? Is there one you'd rather be infected by than the other? Is there one that's easier to survive? In a world where there are Las Plagas and the threat of a Cordyceps brain infection everywhere we turn, it'd be good to know the differences between these parasites and how to defend against them. By the end of this video, you should be able to answer one very important question. Would you rather be infected with Las Plagas or with a Cordyceps brain infection? While you're here, if you enjoy game and character analysis, please subscribe. We upload every Saturday. A quick note. We're primarily talking about Las Plagas from Resident Evil 4. There are different, improved versions of Las Plagas going further in the series, but there's no way I'm talking about them today. I'm pretty sure we'd all pick a Cordyceps brain infection over getting infected by Las Plagas from RE5 or Damnation. Though I am going to mention one method of Las Plagas removal from Damnation. What are they? First and foremost, what are the Las Plagas and the Cordyceps brain infection from The Last of Us? Las Plagas translates to the plagues and are parasitic arthropods. Parasitic arthropods fall into two types, endoparasites and ectoparasites, and Las Plagas has a flavor for both. Endoparasites live within their hosts, like roundworms and hookworms, and ectoparasites live outside the body of their host, like mosquitoes and ticks. For most of Las Plagas' life cycle, they are endoparasites that attach themselves to their host's central nervous system, somewhere between their host's heart and lungs. They increase their host's strength and durability, while also making their host more aggressive. Las Plagas' first step in the life cycle is as an egg. Though once it's found a suitable host, it has 3 stages it grows through. Stage A, Plaga guadagna. Stage B, Plaga mandibula, and Stage C, Plaga aranya. When threatened, these plagas burst forth from their host's head. The first in Las Plagas' life cycle, Plaga guadagna, is recognized by the long, writhing tentacles and by the giant tentacle with a scythe on the end of it, which it uses to swing at and damage threats. Stage B, Plaga mandibula, is the subadult stage in a Plaga's life cycle and is much larger than its previous guadagna form. Mandibula is recognizable by the huge column that sprouts forth from its host's head that ends in a mouth with 4 open flaps lined with teeth. Mandibula can also spit acid. The last stage and adult form most Plagas mutate towards is the Plaga aranya. This spider-like Plaga is Las Plagas' ectoparasitic entry, as aranya can't enter its host body anymore. Try as it might, Plaga aranya can detach from its host, and will if its host is damaged enough, though it can't survive long on its own and will scuttle around quickly to find a replacement host. There are 2 types of Plagas, dominant and submissive. Those infected with submissive Plagas are influenced to do the bidding of those infected with the dominant strain by their Plagas. One other interesting fact about the Plagas is they tend to group together and form a pack mentality, as the Plagas themselves prefer to form social clusters. The Cordyceps brain infection in The Last of Us, which will now be referred to as CBI, is a parasitic fungal infection. Real-world examples of fungal infections would be things like athlete's foot and ringworm. Like Las Plagas, CBI has a life cycle within its host. Stage 1 happens within 2 days of a person's infection. Like Las Plagas, CBI increases aggression in its host, though it also destroys higher brain function, rendering the person incapable of rational thought. Las Plagas keeps these things intact for its host, allowing them to carry on with normal duties. Within 2 weeks of infection, fungal growth over the host's face and the visual cortex of their brain interrupts the host's ability to see. This marks stage 2 of a person's infection. Stage 3 happens after 1 year of infection. By this point, the host is completely blinded and their face is scarred from the fungal growth and infection. Because the host is now blind, they develop a primitive form of echolocation to navigate their surroundings and find other potential hosts for infection. If the host survives for over a decade, we see stage 4, where hardened fungal plates grow over most of the host's body. The final stage is death. Eventually, the CBI kills its host, and when that happens, stalk-like fungal projections grow from the host's body and release infectious spores. CBI is definitely way more disruptive to a person's life than Las Plagas. It robs people of their humanity almost immediately and turns them into a walking host with its only goal to spread its spores and infect as many new hosts as possible. On the flip side, Las Plagas lets you keep some of you. You can go about your daily activities, so long as someone with the dominant strain isn't actively ordering you to do something, though you'll have a shorter fuse and the sudden urge to choke twinks out. How do they infect their hosts? There are two main ways people are infected with Las Plagas. Either you're injected with an egg and Las Plagas hatches and latches onto your nervous system, or if you're really unlucky, you're part of the dig team that worked to revive Las Plagas in the first place. Las Plagas was originally buried away in a cave to keep people safe from it, though years later when people were digging them up, the diggers were infected when they breathed in spores from the desiccated and dormant Las Plagas. Notably, Las Plagas can infect multiple species, as we see both humans and dogs in RE4 as hosts for Las Plagas. Like Las Plagas, there are a few different ways you can be infected with the CBI. The first way is if you were to eat or drink anything that's been contaminated with spores from the CBI. The second is if you breathe the spores in, and the third is if you're bitten by an infected person or infected animal. Like Las Plagas, CBI can infect animals as well as people. Monkeys, although not showing signs of infection, acted as carriers of CBI and could still pass it along to humans through their bite. Weaknesses and countermeasures. Okay, now that we know about Las Plagas and CBI, are there any weaknesses we should take into account when deciding which to be infected with? Are either of them curable or treatable to keep the infection at bay? Let's look at Las Plagas first. Las Plagas are extremely sensitive to ultraviolet radiation. Unfortunately, they know this and aren't likely to pop out of their host during the day because otherwise they get fried by the sun. If you're dealing with a Ganado host whose plaga has popped out of their head, throwing a flashbang grenade that mimics the UV radiation from the sun is equally effective as shoving them out in front of the sun. This doesn't really help much if you're the host with the plaga though. If your plaga has popped out of your head, there's probably no helping you since your head has now been destroyed. So even if we get rid of your plaga, you're still missing a head. If your plaga is still nestled comfortably inside of you, you can try and remove it with a radiation therapy procedure developed by Louise Serra's team. This procedure kills the plaga without invasive surgery by dousing you with enough UV radiation to kill the plaga. Unfortunately, this procedure is pretty painful. Las Plagas attach to their host's nervous system, so you can imagine how painful it is to kill something attached to your nerves. The procedure can even impair the consciousness of the host. Another drawback is once your plaga is an adult, this removal procedure could kill you, so it's better to try and get this done sooner rather than later. Luckily, there are medications that can slow the growth of Las Plagas, so if you need to do some traveling to get to where you can get this procedure done, you can take medication to prevent your plaga from maturing into an adult. The final way you can rid yourself of your plaga is Leon style. Let Leon shoot you and somehow only hit the plaga. This will also render you a paraplegic, but in the words of Leon,
"We owe it to the people who died alongside us. We have to continue living. Even if it means living the rest of our lives without the use of our limbs."
This method is only effective if Leon is nearby though, so don't rely on it. CBI's biggest weakness is how it robs its host of their sight. In the earlier stage of infection, the infected pursue any potential host they see relentlessly. Once the fungal growths destroy its host's ability to see, it's just a matter of keeping quiet when moving around them. Unfortunately, CBI has no known treatment or cure, unlike Las Plagas. Once you're infected, it takes anywhere from a few minutes to a couple hours to be transformed into a zombified host hell-bent on infecting as many people as possible. CBI's biggest weakness is bullets, but I think that can be said of almost anything on this earth. Parting thoughts. The last thing to keep in mind when determining which is the better parasite to be infected with is the quality of life you'll have. With Las Plagas, you get to keep some of your humanity and go about your daily life. Las Plagas will also bring you closer to your community as the parasites prefer to form social clusters with other hosts. The plaga bursting out of your head and increased aggression are a bummer though. On the flip side, CBI hosts get to wander in gorgeous towns that have been taken back by nature, surrounded by lush green plants. Again, you won't be alone since it seems like CBI hosts prefer to group together too. CBI is also a much faster infection. It may not have a known cure, but you won't have to suffer long with its infection. Unlike Las Plagas that attach to their host's nervous system enough to benefit and influence their hosts, but not enough to completely incapacitate them. Which would you rather be infected by, Las Plagas or CBI? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Please like, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Join us in Discord. Follow me on Twitch. More importantly than that though, please take care of yourselves, and I will catch you all in the next one. Thank you.